All right, everybody. It's the Truth Serum. Shout out to the late great Jimi Hendrix. Hey Joe, what you doing with that smoke in your hand? Well, I'm trying to quit pretty soon. All right, folks. First and foremost, thank you for joining in any fashion you support the channel. I greatly appreciate it, my good people. I hope today finds everybody well, in good spirits, and in good mind. I do the channel. I talk about a lot of different things, but I've done a lot of videos on the mob. And my godfather was an enforcer way back for the Colombo family and other families as well. He was an equal family opportunist. Opportunist. And he got older, and we got close. I'm originally from Brooklyn, and good morning, Mike. I'm born in Brooklyn. My godfather and my father were best friends. So I was lucky enough to get a godfather that was a psychopathic mob enforcer, serial killer. But he was nice. He was cool. Later on in years, he relocated to the small town I was in later on, and we'd hang out. He would tell me stories, Michael Murray, and he'd tell me stories, and I try to pick his brain a lot of times, and sometimes he was open and more receptive. Other times he wasn't. So I would say, "What about this? What about that?" Um, Curiosity, because I had already been around a lot of wise guys, and he knew he bailed me out in the early years because I would ask him like, remember they were busting my chops up here, and then you had, were you gonna really come and blast them all out? Were you gonna really? He's like, yeah, I was. What do you mean? Yeah, he said if I said I was like, thank you, Mickey. Thanks. Get off of me. Thank you for saving me all those times. Thank you. Get back, Jojo. Get back, Loretta. So he was cool about it. We were tight like that. Uh, and I had to get something out of his closet. He was still pumping iron and working out in his late 60s. And I used to bebop around his apartment. We would watch Jeopardy at night, and he used to answer every question: science, politics, geography. And he was like, I'll get to the story, my good people. I'll get to the story about the notes, okay? I thought I was going to embarrass him because I'm well versed in many fields of knowledge. And so he's going, come on, Jojo, we'll see. Let's watch some Jeopardy. And I says, do you want me to answer the questions? Because some people don't like that, because I don't want to be answering all the questions right off the bat, Mick. He's like, no, no, no. We'll see who can answer them. We'll see, like a little contest. He's answering all these crazy questions. And I was like, where did he gain this knowledge? And then he took offense. I was like, geez, wow. So he was really whooping my butt. And he's like, what do you think? I'm supposed to be stupid, uneducated? Or I was like, no, no, no. So he was doing something, and I had to get something. I can't remember. This is years ago. And he had a box of, there was magazines, the New Yorker, some old newspapers, and there was some manila folders. Excuse me. And I was looking through them, and it was saying Red Continental on, hangs out 43rd, and and I was trying to, and I was wondering, like, there was these facts, like, there was this information about a person, and sister lives over here, brother has a mole on his cheek and goes to the deli on, and I'm going through these notes, like notes of all these notes, and I can't put it together. Like, what. So it comes to me, holy cow, he was an enforcer. He was one of the best assassins. He was the Hall of Famer assassin, Hall of Fame assassin. He did a ton of research on his victims. Might be a 1990 or a 1989 Cadillac, boom, red, bam, rims, or 1987 Lincoln Continental, boom, this, that, all these details. Goes over to at 3 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday, goes to this location. Mother lives over here. Now, a lot of times, the wise guys and stuff, of course, they love their mothers and they love their family, but a lot of times they couldn't locate their victim. But if you knew where their mother lived, 9 times out of 10, even these killers were mama's boys. They're still mama's boys, and they'd visit their mother, because he told me he located some, and then got to track them down by the mothers. I was like, geez, and it very, very interesting on these notes, and he says, then poker game at this club, this location, and so I says, Mickey, look at all this. You're so yeah. He says, what do you got there? What do you got there? He went, oh, I still got that laying around. I said, yeah, it was under something, some magazines, and he says, what are you, the FBI, freaking searching my place? He said, I would spend sometimes a month, 6 weeks, if I got an order. See, a lot of people get the misconception, which me also, is that, hey, Tony, go hit somebody, and then they go off and find them and hit them the next day. No, it don't work like that. He didn't get all the charges he got charged with. He never got charged with a homicide. Never. He never got charged for a homicide. And he told me a few times that a guy would get hit. Nobody would know the source or where that was ordered from. And some people or another family would get blamed for it, and the core family would retaliate. I said, you cause a lot of trouble for the mob. You should have put a memo out and says, hey, I'm the one that whacked Nikki No-Nos over there. But and so meticulous in the details of the notes. It was unbelievable. The homework he did to pull these off. And I says, well, now in his notes it say, like, somebody has a SLUT that lives over here has a WHORE that lives over here Fridays and Saturdays, usually after 2 a.m. in the morning, he shows up. So he knew who their mistresses were. He knew where they lived. He would know what time they would go there. And he said that was more or less um, depending on where they lived and visibility of who might be around. There's no street cameras. There's no street cameras back then. So he'd find a strategic spot and set up a perch where if he's right or wrong, he does not care. He'll go up the fire escape to a roof and set up a perch with a rifle, with a scope, and just wait and wait. Just wait on if this guy comes, and he would check the parking, what would be the open spot, and then what's the most advantageous. This sounds sacrilegious and morbid, but forgive me, God. But he'd find the most advantageous position to just bleep them, and they would put them silence things on there or mufflers or something, and boom, here's a guy 3:30 in the morning walking to his mistress's house. Pimp, pimp. He just drops, and it might be a while before somebody notices him. Then he just walks away. Boom, boom. You could be at 100 yards, so removed from the victim. He'd give me these, what I'm telling you, he's telling me this, dissertation about how easy it is to just pull this off. He was very cerebral. He had a very, very high IQ. And I asked him later on, I says, why did them guys up there with that crew I was hanging around with, why were they just such bad actors? And I was trying to get a little more juice, and I asked him because a lot of them guys disappeared later on, and in the back of my mind, I was thinking, was my godfather the guy that cleaned house over there? I was close to a couple of them guys. I didn't have any use for some of them, but he didn't like to tread there. He didn't like to tread. Maybe he didn't want to tell me, yeah, I whacked your buddy because I had a friend of mine. We used to go to the racetrack and everything, and I had, we were cool and everything. And maybe he did or did not hit him, but he maybe didn't want to admit that. Yeah, I got him, Joe. I don't know. And he said a lot of times when in his game, in his profession, that the cars is very important. The cars, obviously the victim is driving a car. The cars. And I used to go up to the club and I could see the cars of who was in there. Some days I might say, oh, good, this guy's in there or this guy's in there. And then other days I might say, oh, geez, this other guy's in here. I hope I don't have to talk to him, or I hope there's no interaction. I hope I can dodge him, just by these cars, And I got so crazy with the cars and how I used to drive, where I I got to be stressed and paranoid where when you're driving a car on a 2-lane, 4-lane, or 2 single lanes, north and south, you would I was so paranoid at times where I was strategically driving my car either consciously or subconsciously, more consciously, where I'd always be in the right lane where I can't get boxed in traffic. I always drove through the traffic like I couldn't get boxed in and somebody just boom, blast me. I'm stuck. I can't go nowhere. I always had that on my mind, self-preservation, and always rear view mirror, side mirrors, um, just thinking, because I realized early on that guys I thought I was close to, I wasn't that close to, where it was just like, he ain't your buddy, Jojo. He's really not your buddy. He'll blast you out so quick, and you realize that, and then you deal accordingly. Where after a while, the boss said, "Joe, just stay away from everybody. Don't," because they used to tip me. I used to bring them all over the place, give them rides. They used to tip me money. I didn't care. I was greedy for the money, so I was driving on high alert. When I was in my car, it was always on high alert, and yeah, being positioned in those lanes. It's these little quirks that, Joe Garcia, James McCarthy. Hey, how's it going? Beautiful day. It's a very, very beautiful day. And I remember, speaking of cars and things were crumbling up at the club, I did get followed a couple times for over 60 miles. And you're wondering, where do you go to when you're getting followed? What do you do? You just don't pull into the police station and go, "Oh, I'm being followed by some person I don't know what." And I noticed the car. Now, I ended up out in the country, and I was thinking, if this car there's no way this car will take a right. When I finally had the antenna on and got off of highway stuff, because sometimes on the highway, the expressways, you can't follow things that well. And I was sharp to follow everything, but sometimes you can't. Then when I got more into the country, rural areas, and I'm thinking, this car's still on me. What do? Well, I took a left, he's still on me. Took a right near a freaking cow manure patch, he's still on me. Going, what do? I look at my gas tank, I got enough gas. I ride straight up to the club. I ride straight to the club. Get there first, go in, and then so I saw what the car looked like. And then I remembered, wait, this car was around the club before, whatever, and everybody knows whose car is whose. And then I told the bar girl, call Sam and let me talk, blah blah blah. And I said, this car might be coming right here to the club. It's been following me for an hour now. And he said, what's it look like? Blah 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 blah. And then he said, all right, I'm coming down there. So we come down there. He said, just wait. After about a half an hour, I'm back in the back area, just looking out the window, because I'm going to run. I was athletic back then. I ran track. I was a distance runner prior to that. I was just thinking, I'm going to run like Pink Floyd. Run, run, run. I don't care. I'm going to just start running. I ain't going to be a tough guy and sit around and go, oh, Sam's going to say, oh, let me talk to this guy or nothing. No. because I'm thinking, what if the old man set me up that I thought we were so close to? What if, what, sad to think, but you got to think it. What if all of a sudden this guy comes back and I come under gunpoint, get in the car, Joe, get in the car. But I had told Sam, I will never say anything to the law. Everything you have to believe me, which he did. He was a good judge of character because he dealt with freaking probably 1,000 psychopaths and different personalities. By the time he reached 50, and he was past 70 at the time. So I'm up there. Another guy pulls in. He made a call. Somebody else. Another guy comes in that I had saw around at some card games. Was always nice to me. Tipped me good. Everything. Another car comes in there, and I'm looking. I'm thinking, because the reflection of the windshield. Sometimes you can't see who. But I thought, well, I know it ain't that other guy. And he come in there, oh, good to see you, everything. How's everything? And he's asking me about a couple guys, the guy back at the steel office, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah, freaking guys following me. Please help me. Please help me. I'm being tracked by these. So he says, chill out. Let's have a coffee. And he's calm and everything. So I says, I think I should call my godfather in New York. He's going, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So I'm thinking, is this just a total setup, or is he gonna defend me? So I go out to the bar area. Sam comes. The killer car comes. And this other guy that was a good guy, like I mentioned, they're all in the back talking together. And I'm thinking, they're talking about what to do with me or not to do with me. So I'm telling the barmaid, I'm getting that. She's going, no, Jojo, no, 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 no. She says, believe me, nothing's gonna happen here if it was gonna happen. I was like, I could just get held at gunpoint. No, I'm being a little wimp. And she's trying to give me strength. I'm ready to run. And all of a sudden I hear, Jojo, get over here, get over here. And I get over there and I look at Sam. I said, Sam, he says, relax. And he starts asking me, they start asking me about a couple guys in the crew. And this guy was going to beeline for one of these other guys in the crew. And they thought, because I would hang out with a guy, and they thought I could leave because the guy was on the lam. This other guy was on the lam, and they thought I could lead them to him. And, they were really trying to get to him. Here's another assassin trying to get his target through me, that I can lead him right up to this other guy. And it's crazy stuff with like, I try to take some those assassin notes, and but yeah, that I used to drive strategically in that lane, always thinking. My mind got programmed to whatever I was doing, wherever I was, what's the worst case scenario? And if I have to flee, how? You get a quick education real quick. And I was just impressed with my godfather's notes on every aspect of where his victims and the best time to blast them out. I used to ask him questions, and he'd say, "Oh, leave me alone," and everything. I was like, "What happened to the crew, Mickey? What happened to the crew? What happened to the crew?" I don't know, Jojo. I think they moved to Siberia or Hawaii or Guatemala. I don't know where they went. That's what he would say. I could look at him, but I was the truth serum, and I was a human lie detector, and I was thinking he's full of crap. It might have been the guy that was following me that day because he was also on point, and this is crazy, but I don't know if I was just tripping or psycho, insane, paranoid, stressed, all of the above. I didn't know, but I used to try to read their eyes when they were talking. I mean, like lie detector, uh, like a FBI profiler or something, just back into it. And I used to try to look because there was a crazy liar at OTB all the time, and he would lie and laugh all the time. Nino, God rest Nino. He would lie, but he used to do these quirks on his face with his eyes and these different quirks. And I wasn't really trying to pick up on him. I just knew that's how he would act. He would make up these stories and we'd all laugh at the racetrack or OTB. We'd say, Nino, tell us a story. And then, but he used to do these. So when I was talking to some of these wise guys, they they would do these same quirks. And I think he's lying his ass off, just like Nino. He's doing the same whatever. Tells, like them tells, they're tells. He's lying his ass off. He just said, "Yeah, you're safe, Joe. Don't worry about it." And he's doing, "Don't worry about it." I'm thinking, "Hey, wait a minute. I think he's lying. I think he's lying here." He did, he will, he might have did a little quirk or did a freaking bewitched or something. I don't know. And it just mental hopscotch. And but so I knew my godfather. He was such a straight shooter and so intelligent, and I got to know him so close that I could read him and he could read me. And you know, and then I asked him a couple questions about some things I would hear during the years when we were removed from each other, and it was gossip. It was gossip. I mean, the legend of your godfather. And I was like, Mickey, is it true that you actually? He's like, no, no, they're just mob lore, mob talk, mob lore. I was like, wow, well, that would have been pretty impressive. He's going, nah, he didn't care about earning brownie points and all that. He's just a straight shooter. Nah, that's just bullcrap, Jojo. That didn't happen. Were you surrounded by six killers and you were trapped in an alley and then you scaled the wall and then you freaking jumped from roof to escape? Like, no, I didn't do that. Well, oh, yeah, okay. Funny stuff. Funny stuff. Michael Candinas, Mike Amari, Joe Garcia, James McCarthy. Thank you guys for coming in here, helping me out. And it's crazy. He had notes and then he had pictures, uh, which he got pissed off about at the bottom of another thing. There were pictures of a guy standing near the telephone pole, and he had pictures of his victims. And that's where he really that that inspection and that all that, and that's where that kind of stopped. You went too far because it brung it back. It made it real. He had his notes and all that. That's fine and dandy. That's fine and dandy. And through the years, he's processed that in his mind if he cares at the process or not, and that's put away. But these assassins, what do they like to keep? Their like memorabilia, memorabilia, and I would think that would be incriminating down the road or whatever. That's incriminating, and and he had pictures of these targets. Some would be with a family member, some would be with a mistress, and or different people. And and then he said, "This game is over. Put that down. Get into the living room. Get out of here." Okay. It brung back. It humanized. First, they were just notes. Just notes. Yeah, I did some research, and then it humanized when all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh, here's a picture of who's this guy." And he looked, and grabbed it, and he says, "Get the hell going. Get on out of here now, Jojo. Romper room is over, Jojo. No, I thought we are gonna go have coffee and get some. Nah, go." It touched a nerve in him. Who was this guy? Who was that guy? He had some pictures. He had some serious pictures back there. It's like, God bless the dead. Jeez, I'm not cold and callous. But he was friends with my family. Well, my father, best friends. That's why he got to be my godfather. But I was curious sometimes with pictures of my family on my father's side, because we were disconnected. My mom, single mother, brung us up. So I would try to get, is this a picture of my cousin Vic or Mike or whatever? And DC White Boy's back. There's my man. How you been, man? DC White Boy. Welcome to the private jet. Welcome, folks. I hope you have a nice ride. We're currently cruising at 30,000 feet at 747 knots. Our destination is, where's our destination? Where am I going with this? So, yeah, I was trying to get pictures just to get some information on my cousins and things like that, sentimental things, because as I got older, I wanted to, find the other side of my family and see if they look like me or what they were into. And my godfather was just he had that he's like, Joe, there's none of your family members are in these pictures. Put one and one together. These are these are everybody I whacked. Gosh, don't be so stupid, Jojo. He told me where to go. Some family member. There was a lot of mystery around my father's side. My father was a commercial artist, sign painter. He can draw like Leonardo da Vinci, but he was the enemy to me. He was the enemy. My mom had to raise 5 kids. He was a psycho, and my mom had to raise. So at one time, I had a mission to kill my father, and I'm not a killer, but I loved my mother so much, and what he put her through and put us through, she didn't deserve it. So I had this chip on my shoulder, and I was on a mission to smash him up. And my godfather, kind of slapped me around in the street down there and said, "No, you don't understand." And then he gave me some history of why my father was like that, because because his parents, my grandparents, didn't do the best naturing and nurturing. They weren't parents of the year, and they messed him up. So generationally speaking, that it's just handed down from one generation to one generation. He never observed great parenting skills from my grandparents, and he didn't know how to be a damn father. But I wanted to kill him. DC White Boy. All right, James McCarthy. Am I giving myself therapy here? Am I giving myself? It'll be okay, Jojo. It'll be okay. Hang in there. It's only been 37 years. Get over it. All right. Where you been, DC white boy? You in the country? Where you at? Italy? Where you at, my man? Where you at? My ticker's going up since the last time. Are you proud of me? I love the action, folks. So those are the notes. I was explaining, Mr. White Boy, Mr. White Boy. Uh, when you donate to the channel, I address everybody as Mister. Okay. I was explaining, my godfather, you've heard it, blah, 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 enforcer for the Colombo, enforcer, killer, serial killer. But I was explaining the meticulous notes that he took. He took such meticulous notes on preparing to hit somebody. And it was genius. It was genius. I mean, it's morbid, but it was like he had a very IQ. I know the mob gets a bad rap. Maybe it's justified rap that a lot of these guys did just they got caught for crimes so stupidly. They just went down like chumps. And me, the little errand boy, I used to, oh man, Mr. White Boy, thank you, man. Thank you. Jeez. Thank you. God bless you and your family. Thank you, man. Yeah. So I I would they would think I lost my track of thinking. Thank you, Mr. White Boy. I mean DC White Boy, Mr. White Boy. Um, a lot of people think like you know. So I would think, well, hey, what happened to John over there? Oh, he just got pinched. He's doing this and that, and I didn't want to ask a lot of questions. But then you'd hear things through gossip because believe me, you don't think that you're getting a good juice here, folks. I mean, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but sometimes these guys would start drinking. They were worse than a knitting circle. They would gossip. They would gossip. And I'm there, and I'm supposed to be this little greenhorn, wide-eyed kid, and I'm looking over there, and I'm thinking they're worse than freaking five old ladies in a knitting circle. You know, they would gossip, but whatever that's worth. But I used to wonder how they went down for such, and I would say sometimes, uh, yeah, I don't know where Big J Biz is. Good morning, Francis. And I would say sometimes, well, I used to try to think up. Now, I didn't conspire to commit or hit anybody or anything like that. I never did stuff like that, Miss DC White Boy. I tried, you know, I was a hustler, nickel and dime hustler. But I used to think, and I didn't try to conspire. Nobody said, hey, Joe, we're going to go do somebody in. How should we do it? No, 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 no. I used to say once in a while, when things got loosened up, I'd say, well, if this was the case, I would do it like this, or I would do it like that. Because sometimes they would prompt me and just to be joking around and say, oh, Joe, he's a mystery writer. He could write up the perfect murder and all this, and just in good jest, just to laugh around. But then I would say, you know, this is what I would do. This is what I would do. Mr. McCarthy, I'm going to do the rest of the Jamaican story. I did that Jamaican story, sir, and I'm going to follow up on that. But so because I have a brain injury, and when I could get memories, I got to take advantage when I could get these memories ripe in my mind because they'll dissipate and I will never remember them again forever. So you're dealing with a burned out Rain Man, you know, Rain Man, a whacked out Rain Man. So we're gonna get to the Jamaican story, and there's the Jamaicans, a different faction of Jamaicans after that. So thank you for reminding me, Mr. McCarthy. But that whole Jamaican story is there. We're going to get to the other Jamaican story afterwards when they were shooting up a freaking shooting. Yeah. So I used to just think and give some input. Why did he go to jail? Why did he go to prison for being so stupid? Why did he go to prison for being so stupid? Take a little precaution. Now, I before and after was moving a lot of marijuana around, and I was just the thinker where I can't get busted with this weight on me. I beat an illegal search and seizure. I'm gonna do that story. Remind me, somebody. I beat an illegal search and seizure case with a ton of marijuana on two corrupt detectives that were nicknamed Batman and Robin. I beat that. And guess what? My attorney didn't show up, and I had to make a statement to the judge. And you'll see what we'll get to that. James McCarthy, I need you to be my producer and remind me about that somewhere down the line. So we're gonna have the Jamaican case and that. Now I need help. I got brain injury. This is just story time. Paul D 412. So I was Mr. White Boy, DC White Boy. I was always thinking, because I used to see the wife and the children crying outside of the prison, and it was like, Jimmy didn't have to go down like that. He could have took a couple necessary preventive measures. Why did he go down so stupidly? So, like, my godfather was the complete opposite. And you see, that's why people might say, oh, Jojo, there's 5 families. There's a ton of enforcers running around. There's this and that. Why would they outsource and pay a freelancer? He was more or less a freelancer, but he was with the Colombos. They'd say, oh, well, why would they do that? Because he was a pro and he was specialized in his art. If you want to call being a killer an art, he was the best at it. So that's why they would pay, because it would be done and there would be nothing after that. There would be nothing after that. It's done. Boom. And because some people would say, oh, that don't make sense. Out of those 5 families, the Lucchese, Genovese, Gambino, Colombo, whatever, there's all kinds of sharp killers. Well, maybe there is also, but my godfather was held in the Hall of Fame. He was a Hall of Fame prospect, and they would just say, get Mickey. It'll be done. It'll be clean, clean hits. There's dirty hits, clean hits. It's a clean hit. Because there was people killing people in their own families. Jimbo Slice, how you doing? You got to realize, when you want a clean hit, when a family is killing a member in their own family. And Mickey knew some of the guys he was hitting. He knew who he would. Sometimes, there's a lot of people running around, and maybe sometimes he didn't know, but when he would know, because they're all growing up together in the streets of Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, Queens, Sheephead Bay, they're all around. So he would know maybe some of his victims, and he already had a head start on what their routine was. The things they enjoyed, the places they frequented, he would already have a head start. If he got a hit, by the time he went home, he would already have in his mind where and when he was going to hit the guy, because he had prior knowledge on this guy's habits. Jimbo Slice. DC White Boy, I appreciate your support, man, because I don't get a lot of donations, man. I don't get a lot of donations. I don't beg a lot, but I appreciate that. Thank you, man. I don't have a lot. Believe me, I don't have a lot. That's all. I'm not going to play the violin here, you know. Um, well, a guy, Paul D 412, thank you. They want to hit, they can't use people close to them. Sometimes they do, but thank you. Sometimes they would want to kidnap somebody close to them if somebody was on the lam. Somebody knows somebody's gunning for them, and they would go on the lam, and then they would come back and call their wife or mother, and they would say, "Oh, they took somebody and they're holding them until you come back. So come back and face the music." So, you know, a close loved one could be, yeah, they do. But he didn't, that's not a clean hit. That's not clean. So if it come down to something like that, bye-bye, go use somebody else, because there's too many people in the know and all that. No, that ain't clean. Go get somebody else to do life for murder for that one. Mm. He turned down a lot of hits because he was so calculating, and I thought to myself, if you're the guy that, we had many conversations. Sometimes it wasn't just mob talk. Oh, Mickey, what about this? It was just regular living stuff. He got to be older. It was just regular stuff. It wasn't, oh, tell me about this, tell me about that. But I would ask him, weren't you afraid that somebody is going to get you? How could you survive and navigate? And he said, though, a lot of the bosses and captains and uh, high rankers, a lot of them they didn't even know that he was. I mean, uh, he wasn't recognized in the streets as just being this enforcer. It was so hush hush, like a specialized outsource would go get a guy. Everything's hush because there was so much betrayal going on, and you got to use a guy that will do anything for any family. He is loyal to the money. He's loyal to the money, and not, well, he's the capo or he's this or he's that. No, no, he's loyal to that Ben Franklin, and he does everything clean because it's different if you just got knuckleheads running around and somebody wants to take an enforcer out, or somebody low ranking people on the food chain, low whatever. Or sometimes, another time, a businessman, not even in the mob, a businessman that somehow had friends in the mob, but he wasn't in the mob, and he had something set up, probably insurance or something like that. I didn't conspire or I wasn't in the know on any of this, let the record show, but it was probably for insurance. And somebody said, take this out and here's a job that wasn't related to the mob, but he was compensated very generously. Now I'm just guessing, maybe somebody had a $500,000 insurance policy on somebody, and somebody's walking somewhere, bing, bing, he just dropped that. Well, they got to pay that insurance policy. So thank you, DC White Boy. I appreciate that. Thank you, James McCarthy, for also helping me out too the other day. I appreciate that. So I guess that's it. I think I've said enough. I think I've said enough here. DC White Boy, I'm pumping the videos out. I'm kind of stuck around 915 subscribers, but hey, you know me, I'm pumping out. I don't know the last time you were in here. Maybe I had 800 or so subscribers. I don't know, but nonetheless, regardless what the ticker says, I'm just gonna keep rocking and rolling. And kind of a mismatch. I'm trying to wear a thing with a Jimi Hendrix. You know, I'm not a conformist. I can't be conditioned and programmed like a robot, but it's comfortable. That's all. So Paul D 412, Jimbo Slice, James McCarthy, DC White Boy. I really appreciate your support. He's taking the private jet. I wish I could have, when you take the private jet, you get the bikinis and the champagne. I could go for some bikinis, but not in the champagne. So forgive me for the women viewers here. Forgive me. I'm not a whore master or anything like that. So yeah, James. Yeah. Bensonhurst, to me, I don't know why, but Bensonhurst to me is like the true epicenter of like the Brooklyn, and it's even where the honeymooners, Ralph Cramden, and even the honeymooners, that old series. Bensonhurst touches me more than any other part of Brooklyn or anything else. Or I sentimentally, I don't know. It just feels more like, and Brooklyn to me is the center of the universe. I mean, I don't know. I'm just the way I think, So we're gonna do the Jamaican story tomorrow or the next day, where these Jamaicans took over the OTB and were putting drugs through there so crazily, and there were a couple shootouts in there. The Jamaicans, nice Rastas, come on, man, let's go smoke a spliff, man. Yeah. But a Jamaican, just like any other person, culture, heritage, nationality, everybody is capable of good and evil. Just like you can't just say this demographic is, something, or this demographic is more dangerous than some other demographic. No, anybody could be dangerous at any time. Just human beings are good and evil. That's all. So you see my Batavia Downs thing? I can't get a lawyer to even put a lawsuit in against that. I can't even get a lawyer. They're so scared politically to help me file a lawsuit against Batavia Downs. That's how political freaking saturated this area is, that they're all wimps, and it's a free shot. And I was harassed unfoundedly. And James, this whole political saturation is, nobody wants to go up against Batavia Downs. What wimps? What complete wimps? Wimp mentality. I just wanted one to educate me on the protocol, file the paperwork. I'm not asking them to represent me if it went to court, and they won't even do that. You got wimps. These lawyers. David BMX, how you doing, buddy? So that's where that is. I gotta I gotta let it go. I did post a thing on Facebook of a video I did prior to when they got investigated 2 years ago or last year, over a year ago. And I said, here, okay, here, you want to throw punches? Here, let me put this on Facebook. Here's your beautiful Batavia Downs. So I'm gonna put that to rest. But if there's any lawyer out there that wants to take a free shot, put some paperwork against them, they might settle right out of court, get rid of me for X amount of dollars. But they're all wimps. These lawyers running around here, they're so politically saturated. They're scaredy cats. They're not like those Philadelphia lawyers that are aggressive and say, yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. You're getting all these things. But that's funny, though, James McCarthy. That's funny. You're a wise guy, eh? You're a wise guy, eh? So I could only use up so much mind space on that dump, Hicksville dump over there called Batavia Downs. I'm moving on to bigger and better things. So I had signed out of there for a year anyways. And before that, there was COVID. So I was only actually back there for like 2.5 months in 3 years. Who likes to visit and patronize hell? Because prior to this last month, they harassed me left and right. So that's that. We're gonna do the Jamaican story. Excuse me. We're gonna do the Jamaican story, and we're on our way to 1,000 subs. I like hanging out, of course, and I got some other on the Assassin's notes. The Assassin's notes. I put some notes on those notes. I put some notes. Holy cow! Oh, I also want to do being a video I probably did when I first started the channel. I wanted my experience being on life support for many, many, many months, being on life support. So if I forget that one, inform me, Mr. McCarthy, because sometimes I take notes and then I lose the notes. So yeah, just take notes, Jojo. Just take notes, and then you have to have the wherewithal. When I got out of the hospital, I just was like, my mind was completely gone. So FWO Fred, God help you. God help you if you cash out. 14 cents left in the machine. Security will be all over you. FW Fred, my man. Yeah. Stay great, my man. Stay great. So you know the story behind all of that. And that's Batavia Downs. And I told them, quit sending me this gibberish in the mail. You barred me for life. I don't want any more of this gibberish. You're harassing me. They think they're cute over there. I keep getting Gmails and emails about all this promotions. They're still harassing me. Keep your garbage out of my mailbox, Batavia Downs, and off of my phone. Doesn't the right hand tell what the left hand's doing over there? You barred me for life. Go tell promotions, don't send me any more gibberish. That's continued harassment. They're over there, that little Napoleon up there is getting a good laugh. Like, yeah, he's barred for life. I'm going to keep sending him this stuff. And I can't get a freaking lawyer to just put a suit for other harassment, flagrant foul harassments, just to file the case. That's all. Just to file it, win or lose, set a record precedent on that. But go to Facebook because I'm going to continue to bash the shit out of them. I'm going to continue. You know, they threw the first punch 7 times, and that's that. That's that. Fred, you better bring a taser in there when you go in there, because if somebody gets a hold of you and starts smashing you on the ground, Fred, you're going to have to wait for local police to come in there and rescue you, bro. So get a taser, because you're going to have to defend yourself, because security can't touch anybody in there. So be careful in there, bro. When everybody's running around drunk and everything, ain't nobody going to save you. Hey, Kimmy. There ain't nobody going to save you in there. You know, security's just going to look down and say, hang in there, Freddie. Help is on the way. Well, half my teeth are knocked out. Oh, geez. Well, hang in there, buddy. Hang in there. No bouncers. So that's Batavia Downs and that filthy organization over there, fleecing everybody and harassing and discriminating against people. That's that. I just want something on record, court, to put it on paper, document for legal record. That's all. But all these lawyers around Western New York, they're all little wimps. They don't want to file a case. Who cares? Go on about your business. File it. This is what you got to do. Boom, boom, boom. Pay a fee. Ba, ba, ba. That's it. I don't understand what the problem was. Kimmy says, last time I was at Batavia Downs was over 50 years ago. Smart girl or guy. What the hell? I can't even see. I can't see anything over here. So, yeah, that's that. We're going to do the another Jamaican story. And I want to, oh, that's a dog picture. No wonder. It looked like somebody with sunglasses on. I don't know. We got the notes. Oh, there was another time I had to hide in my apartment. I had to hide. That's a crazy thing. I had to hide. And then there's some mafia stories at the racetrack. We're gonna hit about that. And then there's another time when I got shot at on a porch, and all the bullets missed. So we got some good stuff coming down the line. We got some good stories coming down the line, my good people. And DC White Boy, I can't thank you enough for helping me out. And you did it before, too. I never had a donation that big. You might have been the last one that threw a 50. So I appreciate that. So you know how I say it. I love telling stories. I love hanging out with you folks. And be the kings and queens of your world. You got your life to live. You got your lives to live, and stay strong. Stay strong. Fulfill your potential. The world will mess you up. Fulfill your potential. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. They're burying my best friend. I'm a young, my buddy. Boom. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. So fulfill your potential. Try to stay in the right frame of mind. And be the kings and queens that I tell you that you are. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you. And get the most out of life. What's your ideal life? What does your ideal life look like? We can't keep looking at the clouds. We got to look at the sun and the blue skies sometimes. And get our vibe, get our momentum going. I beat the odds and fought the odds numerous times when it looked like you got a 1% chance to make it through this, JoJo. You got a 1% chance. That's all you need is 1% chance. That's all you need. Nothing is impossible. So we gotta thank you, Michael Candinas. Stories are good. That's I have a different niche here. I hang out with the people. Nobody else does that. If you want to talk to those people, you got to pay Patreon. And they're not even as good as me. They're not even as good as me. And you got to pay them for their bullcrap stories. And they got graphics and all this other stuff. Because I truly believe I am from royal DNA. That's why. Am I just stupid to believe it, or I'm a genius to believe it? We are from that royal DNA. So fulfill it. Believe it. I believe that I'm going to have 100,000 subscribers. I don't care if I'm stuck on 916. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't look like Buddy Holly. Uh-oh, and no Mary Tyler Moore. Mm-hmm. All right, folks, I'm a little, yeah. No, I just fly by the seat of my pants, Michael Candinas. I just fly like I'm either the best psychopathic liar out there, or I just have an encyclopedia of stories in my mind. Or both. I did have a brain injury. Am I having false memories? False recall? I don't know, but I know I'm going to have fun. Yeah, you heard about Carl. Yeah, Fred. Yeah. That's terrible. Yeah. Yeah. Jason doesn't wine and cigars. Yep. Go visit Mike and Chaz. God bless them too. Everybody's doing their thing. We're keeping good spirits. We're not gonna bash Mike Francis and Chaz Palminteri. Let them rock and roll. Do what they do. They're not hurting me. I've it is what it is, the old saying goes. So yeah, I got some good juice coming up, and we're gonna just keep going. I can't focus on the negative Batavia Downs and all their stuff. That's just the demons trying to get you off your game. The demons. This is spiritual warfare. That's just demons. Well, I'm thinking about all that stuff, and it's like I don't even feel like doing a video. Doing something I enjoy because my mind's being so polluted by this Batavia Downs. No, forget about them bums. Let me still get in there. Get back in the ring, JoJo. Get back. If you get smashed up a little, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. That's all. I was brought back. I've had a fourth chance at life, maybe a fifth chance at life. So, I want to integrate positivity with some of these types of stories that might be a little dark. And I also want to talk to the people. Nobody else does that. There's a million channels out there, but if you want to talk to the people, the content provider, you got to pay. I did 400 videos before I even put a link to my book on there or had a Cash App. I just enjoyed the natural grassroots do it. But these guys are all millionaires and they want your socks and underwear. They're all millionaires. They've been begging from day one. I have less. I'm broke. I'm broke. Don't let the freaking suit jacket fool you, all right? I don't even have the pants to the bottom of this suit, all right? Gym shorts. I do have the bottom of this suit. So that's that. We're rising up. You folks are rising up. And Fred, stay out of that dump over there, all right? If you see Chris, Tell him I need a donation, okay, Fred? If you see Chris, tell him contact me ASAP. Thank you, DC White Boy. I really appreciate that. It helps. It touches me. I try to promote love and compassion. I'm not just some evangelistic con artist up here trying to get in your pockets and all that kind of bullshit. I put a lot of time and work, 400 videos, and it, the hard way got censored and barred, you know. And I get a little unruly once in a while and would tell you, get lost, all you MFs, get lost. I'm a little crazy. I love and compassion, but what the hell? Go pay some money on Netflix or something. Go watch something on Netflix. Go. Bye. Unsubscribe. Get lost. Get lost. Get lost. Chiselers. That's all. Chiselers with their communion money. So afraid to be charitable and everything else. Forgive me, I'm having a moment, okay? But what the hell? DC White Boy's been in here 4 times. Maybe he just watches once in a while or he's a busy guy. Boom. That's class. That's class. I don't care. I try to be, but get lost. Get lost. That's all. Forgive me. Forgive me. Don't hit the like button. Unsubscribe. You don't want to support my channel. Get the hell going. You won't even reach in. There's millions of book readers and buy a freaking $9 book. Chiselers. I am for the underdog. I was always taught to be that way for the underdog. If I had $10, I'd give a hobo on the street $5. And that's the way I was brung up. So that's why I'm having a moment right now when you could have 900 and something subscribers, do almost 500 videos, and you only got donations from 4 people. Sorry, you're tightwad chiselers. Unsubscribe. That's all. God bless. God bless. I thought you just reprimanded them all. Thank you, DC White Boy and James McCarthy for having some class here and supporting my channel. God bless you and your families.